Yeah, so absolutely excited to have Terra Lopez from Backline on the podcast today. How have things been for you?
Things are going great. Really busy, but really, all good things.
Yeah, so I guess the easiest place, probably the best place to start for anybody who's listening, maybe just walk us through what Backline is, what it does, and then we can just kind of go from there.
Yeah, so Backline is a nonprofit. We provide free mental health and wellness resources to the music industry and their
Mm,
family members. So that covers everyone from the artist to the manager, tour crew, security staff, venue staff, really anyone that has a hand in the music industry. We provide services for, and that includes case management. So if you can come to us and say, "I live in Tennessee. I need a therapist." And, we do the work basically. We're the bridge to help you
amazing.
find that care. And then we have wellness services. So if you're interested in yoga, breath work, meditation, we have free subscriptions with our wellness partners. And we also provide a weekly virtual support group. So
Amazing.
it's really just a safe space to gather and
Mm,
vent or get advice. And those are held by licensed professionals.
amazing. Maybe before we get into the super nitty gritty of it, we can maybe talk about your role at Backline and kind of how you came to be involved with them.
So I'm an artist myself.
Hmm.
I sing. I've been a touring and recording artist for about 15 years. And so I know just how tough this industry is on the artist front. And I'm also very passionate about mental health. And so I have been the community manager at Backline for a little over 4 years now. And really, my role is to figure out what the community's needs are.
Yeah.
As an artist, I have those conversations daily with my peers, with other folks in the industry. And so it's been such a rewarding role to be able to help those in the industry get the help that they need.
Yeah. So maybe for people who aren't, artists in their own right, what are some of the unique like mental health challenges that, folks in the industry face, whether it be an artist or a crew manager or anybody really?
The industry is really tough. I think a lot of folks who maybe are outside of it think that, tour, for instance, is glamorous.
Mhm.
And there's definitely moments that can be, but most of the time it's just a lot of hard work. It's late nights. You're really isolated on the road. Sometimes, like, in my experiences, you go to a city and you just get to see that one block that the
Right.
show is on. You're away from your family, your friends, you're missing really important life milestones and moments. And, a lot of folks that I speak to also struggle with alcoholism, substance abuse, depression, anxiety. There's just so many unique factors
Yeah.
in this industry. And that's just, I was just talking about tour, but then there's also the social media pressures, the expectations. There's a lot of different unique aspects to this industry that unless you're in it, you might not know or even be aware of.
Yeah. I think that was my biggest like takeaway, having no really prior experience in the music space prior to doing any of this, like that was my biggest takeaway. As tour is like this incredible grind unless you are like really like a top like what 1% 5% artist,
Mhm.
like you're grinding away, and it is like you're right, you're in a city for 12 16 hours and you're on to the next, and it is um just an insane thing that I don't think a lot of people fully understand. So you kind of mentioned it a little bit, like in terms of the landscape in general, right? The music landscape, how has that changed in recent years? Has social media brought kind of upon this new wave of different mental health problems for people, or is it kind of the same stuff you're seeing in and out?
Yeah, I mean, I host these real talk conversations once a month with artists, and we talk a lot about how social media impacts your mental health.
Mm.
And a lot of the feedback that we get is that artists just feel so much pressure to create content constantly to
Right.
the point where it's like, when do I have time to actually make the music that I love, or. And so that is a fine balance of putting yourself out there because that's inevitable, you have to, but also making sure that you're authentic, making sure that you're taking time for yourself and for your art. And so I think a lot of folks struggle with knowing, like, of having that balance.
Yeah.
That's a huge, huge topic within the community here.
Yeah. It is really funny, right? Like you strive for like this weird space of like feeling super genuine online, but then there's like a point in time where even you could be almost as forthcoming as like humanly possible. But there's like, you still put the phone down at some point and you have this real in-person, conversations with people. And it's very hard to balance. Even, I do it in a space where like, obviously I'm not, touring by any stretch of the imagination or anything like that, but it's still a very, very odd space to be in. Something that I don't really fully think that we were ever meant to like
Hmm.
consume 24 hours a day, but we're definitely in this, constant stimulation overload at the moment. And it is not, um, I mean, I know it's not good for me. I don't think it's good for anybody, but, could you kind of walk us through maybe how someone, in the music industry might, engage with Backline? Is it like is it like a number to call? Is it like a email situation? And then, how do you guys kind of, I mean, obviously it's case by case, I guess, but how is a plan kind of developed for somebody?
That's a great question. So, folks can go to backline.care and hit the Get Help tab. And from there, there's a variety of options. Our bread and butter plan is our case management. It's
Yeah.
completely free. You submit a short form, and within about 48 hours, you are assigned your very own case manager, and they help guide you through the process of finding the care you need. So, whether you're interested in therapy or a wellness modality or a life coach, even, they're able to give you a few options. And these are individuals that have music industry experience because, the last thing you want to do is have to explain your lifestyle to a therapist.
Right.
And that's never a thing that you want to do. So, all of our vetted clinicians have some type of mental health industry experience. So they're going to get it. And then you kind of see if that's a fit, and most of the time, hopefully it will be. And if not, your case manager is there to help you continue to try to find the right care. So it's really, we like to say that we are the bridge to help you
Mm.
get to the care that you need. And the entire time, you have someone to lean on because this process is tough. It's
Yeah.
the mental health system is not an easy one to navigate. And so that's why Backline started, was to try to help the folks that need the care the most actually get that care.
Yeah. What are some of like the most common barriers you see for musicians or industry professionals, I guess, kind of, is it like scheduling issues? Is there like a weird stigma behind mental health still in music, or what other kind of barriers do you think there are for them?
It's definitely those two for sure that you mentioned. I think financial barriers
Mm.
are very, very real. A lot of folks that I talk to just say, I can't afford therapy. Like, I can barely afford my rent or barely
Yeah.
afford to be on tour. Like, therapy is just not something that I can budget in right now. And so, through our Music's Mental Health Fund, we provide financial aid to pay for therapy sessions. So that way, hopefully that barrier is removed, but I definitely think the stigma is still very much there.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely gotten better. We're continuing to see the industry and society as a whole evolve. But it's still there, and I
Yeah.
think in certain communities it's higher than in others.
Yeah.
But I think that's why conversations like this are just so important, to normalize mental health and to normalize, like, we all have mental health. And it's super, super important, especially for creators, to manage that, take care of that. So then your music can thrive, you can thrive.
Mm. Yeah, it's this weird catch 22, I think, with social media. Is like, it's in one hand provided like this, mental health crisis in its own right, but on the other side, it's like the amount of people that are sharing that they're going through things is like this, nice part that makes you feel like you're not alone, that makes you feel like
Hmm.
you can seek help. So it's this weird relationship between causing issues and maybe kind of pushing people trying to get help for these issues. Um, is there anything, like one thing in particular, you think needs to change, like systemically in the industry to maybe best support artists overall?
What a big question. What an important question,
Right.
right? Um, I think that we need to see those in power prioritize taking care of the ones making the music. And that's not just the artists, that's the agents, that's the promoters,
Yeah.
that's the tour crew. I mean, everyone that helps make this music ecosystem work needs to be taken care of. And those in power can make that happen. So I think, like, really, I would love personally to see when you get signed to a deal that mental health is baked into the contract. That there is, as myself, I was signed to a major label and they absolutely had the ability to take care
Yeah.
of that for me, and it wasn't the case. And so I think a lot of folks see that. We're starting to slowly see artists be able to kind of leverage, but it's also like, I would also love to see more resources from the industry as a whole for the emerging and developing artists.
Yeah.
I think, again, it just really comes down to prioritizing mental health in any and all the ways.
Yeah. I was gonna ask that question. Is I don't know, maybe not, I don't want to call it insurance, but is like that kind of stuff usually baked into contracts with labels, or just it's kind of just that's not even brought up, or anything like that?
It really depends on the label.
Yeah.
I think some of the bigger labels
Mhm.
absolutely have that ability. I don't know if they follow through with it, but they definitely have the ability.
Sure.
I can only speak to my experience, but with major labels, I did have the opportunity to get health insurance, but only for a certain, a certain extent.
Sure.
And then with indie labels, my experience is that that's not usually ever an option.
So, do you, in your experience with Backline, do you see more? Is it more of an indie artist that's coming for this type of help, or is it, artists small and large kind of coming for this help?
It's everyone.
Mm.
It's everyone from top of the top, artists to emerging artists that are just getting started, and also anyone in the industry. So
Yeah.
from lighting techs, we're seeing tour support, we're seeing venue staff, we're seeing agents, managers, folks across the industry and their family members are coming to us. And so it's been really incredible to see the response, and also really insightful to see, like, okay, it's everyone that needs help.
Yeah.
It's truly from the folks who can absolutely afford therapy to the folks who can't.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think every single person, no matter what, right, is going through something one way or another. So yeah, I think that it's nice to see or hear, I guess, that everybody is kind of seeking out this help, no matter kind of what their involvement is with the industry. So as as an organization that is kind of uh, championing mental health, how do you guys partner with labels or venues or festivals to kind of um, better amplify what you guys are doing?
So that is always the goal. And that's always the main question. How do we get the help to the people that need it most?
Yeah.
So we have a venue signage program where we are in every Live Nation venue. There is a sheet, a one pager about Backline and the services we provide in every green room. And we're looking to expand that across the nation in small to big venues everywhere.
Cool.
Also looking to expand that into rehearsal spaces, recording studios, places where artists and musicians and industry folks gather and spend their time. And then with festivals, we've done some wellness activations with our Heart and Soul partnership with Spotify. We've also provide take care wellness kits. So folks who are about to hit the road can submit for tote bags, and those are filled with wellness goodies,
Yeah.
things that, holistic wellness to exercise bands to socks to just a journal. So it really
Yeah.
is, we're trying to like kind of meet the folks in so many different ways where they're at.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think, yeah, just you're right, any little piece to be able to let people know that there's a little bit of help out there goes a very, very long way. So in terms of, obviously you're a nonprofit. So in terms of funding donations, how do you guys, um, I don't want to, how is your funding donation kind of super sustainable to be able to continue to provide, the amazing help that you're providing for people?
We have been so fortunate to have an incredible community rally behind us. We
Mm.
are 6 years old now. We started in 2019, and we have really grown so much. I mean, I've been at the organization for 4 years,
Yeah.
and just within those 4 years, like the amount of growth has been incredible. And it really is through our grassroots fundraising. We also have some corporate sponsors.
Yeah.
We have folks that really have stepped in and shown like that they want to also support and prioritize mental health in their communities. And so I just feel really grateful to be a part of this organization that so many folks support in so many ways. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
We are very fortunate to have people in the community see this as a need that needs to be prioritized.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you started in 2019. So like that's like height or beginning of pandemic, close to the height, I suppose. It's hard to remember anymore. How has it changed kind of from those days to now? I mean, obviously it's grown, but in terms of has like this mental health struggles kind of changed, or is it still kind of the same things?
So Backline started in 2019 after a series of losses within the industry.
Mm.
And a number of folks came together to basically like sit down and say like, where are the resources? How can we like save our friends
Yeah.
from dying, And the co-founders of Backline found quickly that there weren't really enough resources, and they weren't easy to find. And so
Yeah.
Backline quickly developed into an organization. And so from there, they had no idea that they were going to start the organization and then a pandemic was about to
Right.
happen. But it kind of was divine timing, I think, because of course then artists, music industry folks really had a tough time. And
Mm.
so Backline was able to step in and fill a need that was absolutely there and exacerbated even more so.
Yeah.
And so over the years, I mean, I think the mental health struggles have relatively ramped up. I think we're seeing a need even more so than the pandemic.
Yeah.
The industry has changed post pandemic. And so with that, the needs have grown and the demand has grown. And also the stigma hopefully has lessened a little bit and hopefully will continue to.
Mm.
And so we have just seen, I mean, just this year alone, Backline as an organization has grown so much with Chapel Roan's help and support,
Yeah.
launching the We Got You Fund with us after her incredible Grammy speech. And kind of from there, like her fellow pop star friends, like trickling in and really supporting the initiative to just so many initiatives and campaigns that we've launched this year.
Yeah. That's amazing. I think Um, what is like one thing you've learned from, your time at Backline or maybe just in the community in general that has like shifted your approach or changed how you kind of feel about mental health in general? Like you said, you spoke that you kind of were, very a strong advocate to begin with about it, but has anything changed over that time or strengthened your kind of stance on it?
Yeah, so I lost my father to suicide 10 years ago. And that really made me personally reflect on my own mental health
Yeah.
and made me see like I need to take care of myself. And so I feel so fortunate to be at Backline, an organization where I get to talk about mental health every single day with
Yeah.
other people who are passionate about mental health. And also I get to talk to artists who are passionate and also in need of mental health care. And so for me, I would say it's just strengthened my resolve
Yeah.
to continue in this advocacy work and to continue to try to help in any way possible, help folks in the community find the help that they need, connect them with folks who can truly help them. And I just love having conversations with people in the industry about it because, for so long there was this like idea that you have to suffer to make great art. And I think we all heard that. I think we all kind of grew up with that. And it's been really incredible to unlearn that
Yeah.
and to see in real time others unlearning it and realizing, like, oh, I can take care of myself and feel good and still create work that I'm so proud of.
Yeah.
And so I think that would probably be one of the biggest lessons is just kind of having those conversations and those revelations at the same time.
Yeah, that's kind of my stance on it. Like, I never anticipated having this platform like years and years ago when I attempted myself. But now that I'm kind of in the space, and kind of going through, my own therapy and my own stuff that way. But I want to be as open about that as possible because, um, yeah, I think it matters. Like I've had, the little bit and pieces that I've shared with people, they are very grateful to know that, everybody's going through it. Right. And I've gone through the worst of it for sure, or I feel like, and, as much as we could support people, even by just having those conversations, I think it goes such a long way. Um, so I guess maybe kind of like looking forward for Backline, what are some of the big goals going forward for Backline?
We have a lot coming up, a lot. 2026 is going to be a big year for us.
Yeah.
We're kind of finishing out this year, launching basically a campaign to help fund our Music's Mental Health Fund, which is where we provide financial aid to those that can't afford it for therapy. So
Yeah.
we're really going to focus the rest of the year on that. We have so many goals, ones that I can't quite mention just yet, but just we have a lot of partnerships developing. We will be on site at a lot more music festivals with our wellness lounges and wellness activations, and just have. I think, we're really going to see a lot of growth, and with that growth, be able to help a lot more people, which is always the goal.
Yeah, love that. Do you see, maybe over the next 5 to 10 years, do you see the music space, in terms of its approach to mental health wellness? Do you see that evolving or changing in any type of way? Maybe like we kind of talked about more label support, or do you think it's kind of maybe not that it'll stay the same, but little growth there, I guess.
I think it will have to change.
Yeah.
I think folks are in the industry are going to demand it. We're already starting to see it being a priority.
Yeah.
And I think that always helps when, the 1% of artists who are at the top, like a Chapel Roan,
Yeah.
like a Noah Khan, are speaking up for those that maybe don't have that platform. So I do think that the industry in 5 to 10 years will absolutely change out of necessity. And I love that for us. I love that we are going to be demanding mental health and wellness be a priority. And so I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how the industry evolves and meets that need.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, even as like a listener and just an enjoyer of music, I'm excited too for the possibilities for artists or anybody in that space to be able to kind of get those resources that they need. I guess maybe in a short wrap of it, how can listeners, whether in the industry or people just kind of listening, how can they support backline and maybe help shift culture around mental health in general or music?
Folks can go to backline.care. We have so many free resources, articles, conversations, merch, even if you want to directly support,
Right.
buy a t-shirt, and let folks in your community know, like, hey, I'm a safe person to talk to about mental health, or I support mental health. That's a very direct way to help
Yeah.
support Backline and the work that we do. But really just follow us on Instagram, follow us on our socials, and keep up to date with the work that we're doing. I think that is so important. Just go check out the website. There is
Yeah.
so much to uncover there, and there's help out there. So if anyone in the industry is watching this, listening to this, go to backline.care and reach out to a case manager and just see what kind of help you might need.
Love it. Is there, I guess, kind of giving you the floor, is there anything we haven't talked about here that you would, you want to touch point on or anything of that nature?
I think we kind of covered everything. We covered all of our resources. We covered kind of just like the basic need. I think we're good. I think
Yeah.
I think we did it.
Love it. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today, Tara. And yeah, it's like she said, check out backline.care. And I appreciate you taking time today.
Really appreciate. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're